So it looks like we're getting another wave of DC Multiverse toys from McFarlane Toys based on the Batman, but are these new releases worth the money? Be sure you stick around until the end when we talk about the new 12-inch statues and which of them is the best. If you support what I do, please click subscribe and hit the bell for notifications so you don't miss a single video of mine when it comes out. And if you want to hang out with me and my soulmates, I stream live on YouTube Fridays at 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. First up, we're getting an unmasked Batman, which is pretty cool. I like the body on this action figure, but the head sculpt that's based on Robert Pattinson's face is not really doing it for me. This really doesn't look like Robert Pattinson, and I think they needed to spend more time on this one. It's not even that this is necessarily bad. I think this has the makings of a great head sculpt. It's just that they needed to put a little bit more work into this one before release, and I think it would have been there. Also, I noticed that Unmasked Batman comes with a batarang instead of the grappling gun that comes with the standard Batman action figure. I thought that was interesting. It's a pretty sneaky way to get us to buy both versions of Batman, but I don't think I'm gonna get both versions of Batman. I don't think I'm gonna get any version of Batman because of the side eyes, which is an ongoing issue with DC Multiverse action figures. Believe it or not, every single toy in the Batman wave has the side eyes. And it's gotta go, man. It's completely wrecking the entire line. It would be one thing if it was done on maybe one toy or two, but on every single one in the line, that's too much. Next up, we're getting Catwoman Unmasked, and I don't hate this action figure as much as I did the original released Catwoman, believe it or not. I thought that the regular Catwoman is not all that great. I don't like the look of her. I like the look of her body. I don't like the way the mask looks. I think it looks cheap and tacky. And that's not even a criticism of McFarlane Toys. That's just a criticism of the movie design. I would have preferred it if Unmasked Catwoman just didn't have the mask on her head at all. I wish it was just a plain Zoe Kravitz head, and I would have been very happy for this. The side eyes on this Catwoman toy are there, but it's not as pronounced as some of the other toys, so I don't mind it as much. I really don't hate it like I do a lot of the other toys, and if I picked up any of the Batman action figures at all, it might be this one, believe it or not, or maybe the Riddler. Again, I do notice some differences between this Catwoman and the regularly released Catwoman. This one appears to have more of a blue tint through the entire paint job, and also she comes with a whip that's all coiled up instead of all the way undone. Again, it's a pretty sneaky way to essentially get us to buy the same action figure twice, but at least they're doing a little something more with the accessories, they're doing a little something more with the paint apps, and they're doing something more with the head sculpts. Next up is the Penguin, and they've done an okay job on the Penguin sculpt here. His head looks fairly accurate to what's in the movie. Not 100% accurate, it could use a little bit of work, just like Robert Pattinson's head, but overall, not too bad. Is this one that I have to have? Not really. I'm not loving the side eyes on this one. I think it looks absolutely silly. And the accessories just aren't there for this one. He has a couple of extra hands, but that's not really doing it for me. It's got the finger gun hand, which is a little bit of an in-joke among McFarlane Toys right now because they can't include actual, firearms with the figures anymore. They have to make do with other accessories. Haven't seen the Batman, so I'm not criticizing McFarlane Toys here for the inclusion or non-inclusion of accessories, but it kind of looks like just some fat guy in a trench coat. It doesn't look like we're looking at anything particularly special here. Much like the other toys in the Batman line, if Penguin didn't have the side eyes, if he just had a normal look on his face and he was looking straight forward, I would give more serious consideration to buying all these along with Penguin. But as it is, maybe if they're discounted, maybe if they're heavily discounted, but right now, probably not. Next up, we have a 12-inch statue of Batman. It looks really cool, and it's loaded with detail like you would expect from a statue. He looks like he's about to leap down on a bunch of criminals, and I kinda want this one. I don't know why, because I'm not that big of a statue guy, but I kinda want it. It really does depend on whether or not the movie is any good though, so I have to see the movie first and decide if I want to get this one or whether I just want to leave it aside and maybe save my money for something else. At $40 though, it is a pretty decent price, I think, for a 12-inch statue, so if you're interested in this and you really like Robert Pattinson's Batman, I think you got a good deal on your hands. The last one that we just saw is the Riddler, and this is another 12-inch statue. I'm less enthusiastic about this one because it's very plain looking. There's no kind of action pose. He's kind of just standing there with his ice pick extended like he's about to turn the key on his front door or something like that. It would have been a lot better, I think, if we had seen the Riddler maybe attacking someone with his ice pick, or using his duct tape, or kneeling down to do something. Any sort of action at all would have been better than just Riddler standing there, which is what we're getting here, unfortunately. At $40, it's pretty inexpensive for a statue, and at 12 inches, it's a pretty good amount of statue, but I don't know that it's $40 I want to spend because it feels so bland. It is what it is, and if you're interested in the Riddler and you like the Riddler from this movie, maybe you'll like this one. Well, Soulmates, what do you think of all these new Batman releases? Are these Batman toys and statues and collectibles that you are interested in? Do you want these? Or are these that you think you're going to leave alone because maybe you're like me and you're really not enthusiastic about the side eyes thing going on the entire line of Batman action figures? Or maybe you don't mind it that much and you think these are really cool and you went out and you got the entire first wave. Soulmates, let me know what you think of all this new Batman merch. I would love to hear from you. And if you have a wish list of Batman merch that you would love to see, I would love to hear about that too, especially if you have gone and seen the movie. Personally, I'd love to see Carmine Falcone. I hear he's a pretty big part of the Batman movie. I'd love to see Commissioner Gordon. I hear that the rapport between him and Batman in the movie is absolutely wonderful. I'd love to see Alfred, because how do you have Bruce Wayne or Batman without Alfred? It's just not possible. And then of course, it would be great to see the Batmobile. It's not my favorite version of the Batmobile, but it's important that we do see it because it's the Batmobile that we're seeing in the movie. I'll be back again soon with some more thoughts about new comic book toy news. And until then, love from me to you. Bye-bye.